Welcome back. You're watching The Insight now, where we want to buckle down and discuss the current state of play of the lay of the land as far as politics is concerned in the country. And my guests already in studio with me. Allow me to just introduce them. We have with us this evening Shekel Shabir, who's a member of Parliament Kisumu East. Also, we have Dr. Danson Mungatana, who is a senator of Tana River. We have Beatrice Elachi with us as well. She is a member of Parliament, Dagoretti North, and we have Senior Counsel. This is Senator Okong'o Omogeni. And we seek to untangle a host of issues, including party politics, also looking at next week's NADCO report that will be presented to the President at the KICC. And we shall also be looking at the current state of play as it is, as we know it, the specter of the global tensions with the with the Iran and the US-Israel war. So I just want to extend a hearty welcome to all of you this evening. Good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. Let me just begin with you, Honorable Beatrice Elachi, because the President was in your constituency yesterday, and we saw tear gas being lobbed and trying to control the crowd. What was happening? Just briefly.
Well, you know, it's very interesting because I was the last in the school. I think the tear gas was either after everyone had just left and the boys are left. I even asked in the morning because I was shocked also, tear gas. I'm like, I was the last. I left school at 3 p.m. That's how I left Kawangware. And for me, I just left. So I don't know whether when the President left, there was a lot of, I know there was a huge crowd.
You're really massing here towards the motorcade of the President.
No, he left before even they did that. I don't, either they felt that the others who were left behind had been now closed by the mob, so they were trying to make them so that the cars pass or something. But he had already left completely that ground. And I think that's why even me, I was like, I even asked, I wouldn't say the journalist, but I asked him, was it after, was it when? So he explained to me. I said, oh, okay. But I doubt whether it was lobbed by the way it's done by the police. I think it was just dropped or something. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, anyway, let's hear now.
But it was not for hitting anyone. I think it was just to make the way for these other cars that were left behind maybe to pass or something. I don't know. Yeah.
All right, maybe I'll also just extend a handy opportunity to all of you. I know everyone has expressed, you know, their condolences and their sympathies for the Member of Parliament of Amura Dikir. This is Yohana Ngeno.
Yeah, no.
And today there was a requiem mass. I wonder if any of you attended and you followed through. We can begin with you, Shekel Shabir.
I didn't go to the mass. I had other things to do, but I was at the house when our speaker went to pass our condolences on my dear friend. I've known him for a very long time, both before he joined Parliament and after he joined Parliament. We went to go. I was with him from 2013 onwards. We sat in the same committees. So you went to pay our homage. Condolences, yes.
Right. Dr. Danson Mungatana.
I just want to say poleni sana watu wa Amura Dikir. Yohana Ngeno was a great man and a good man. The last time we interacted a lot was when he came to Tana River. He was chair of the lands committee in the National Assembly. They were coming for public participation on the affordable housing thing. So we hosted them in Tana River. It all went very well. But what I remember about him is after the whole thing, because he was curious about crocodiles and whatever, and we told him, come and see them. So he went to the river and I told him, you can cross over because they are on the other side. And he said he will never enter. And we kept on pushing him. I said, you're a warrior, what is happening? He said, no, he can't enter. Okay, the sergeant at arms then came and said, no member of Parliament is going to enter a canoe. So, but we had a good time. A very nice guy. I really liked him. And anyway, you see some things, God is the final decider of these things.
Indeed. Right. Elachi?
Well, yes, my condolences also to the Amura Dikir people. And I know Johanna was one leader that you would expect he will go beyond all the leaders and just stand and be firm on what he believes in. And so I remember the late Joyce Laboso. We would take Johanna to Joyce's office when we really pushed him to now get married. And, and Joyce was like a mother to him. Huh? And she really, really will talk this Kipsigis thing to this young man, bachelor. And you know, he married at 45. But yeah, we stood there. This Maasai girl from the Ntutu's family. I just want to give my condolences to her, to the children, and to George Barry's family also. George was a very good pilot. I want to plead with the people of Moradikir. Let us mourn Johanna as he would have wished. An accident is God's will. I don't think the pilot, who was a very experienced and was just 1 month to his retirement, would wish to die. I don't. And so it was an accident, and we pray to God to hold each family. I looked at them this morning. It's a very young family. Each of them are very young, and you could see their parents. And I know it's not easy, and it's not going to be easy. They're going to go through a very tough time. But I know God will also grant them that favor of understanding.
Indeed.
And that's what we pray for them.
Yeah. Thank you. Let's hear from you, Senior Counsel.
Yeah, my deep and heartfelt condolences to the family of the late Johanna Ngeno, MP for Moradikri. He borders Nyamira, Borabu constituency, and is somebody I knew at personal level, a friend. The last time I was with Johanna, we had lunch together at a restaurant that is at Intercontinental House, 7th floor. And in Nairobi, one of the most calm and cool members of parliament. The Johanna Ngeno you see back in Moradikri, and the Johanna Ngeno you'll meet in Nairobi is a cool gentleman, soft-spoken, very jovial, a friend to almost everybody. It is sad that he has died at that prime age. I considered him to be an emerging leader within the Kalenjin community. So our neighbors, Kipsigis, have lost a very promising leader. He's left a very young family. We know accidents happen, but I hope going forward there would be better coordination between the Nairobi people who authorize choppers to leave Wilson, and when they are at the countryside. Because I get the picture that how you move at the countryside, the decision to either lift and go back to Nairobi or to any other destination is left at the judgment of the pilot. I'm not saying pilot were committed an error of judgment, but what I've seen is there is very little communication with Nairobi. So with this
air traffic control?
If the weather is bad in Nairobi, you will not be allowed to leave Wilson. They will tell you that the weather is not good, don't leave. But once you are out there, I think it's left to the judgment of the pilot to make a decision whether it is safe to fly or not. Of course, we'll be told maybe what caused the accident, but I think everybody seems to be pointing to bad weather. So we take this chance to caution our pilots to also exercise extreme caution, especially during this time when we have fairly harsh weather out there, heavy rains, heavy clouds, so that we don't see this kind of misfortune. To the family of the other youngsters, my deepest condolences. To the pilots, our very heartfelt condolences. Those are lives that we really ought not to have lost through such an accident. But may the Almighty God rest the soul of Johanna Ngeno and the other 4 Kenyans in eternal peace.
Indeed, indeed. Yeah. Even as we eagerly await for the burial on Friday. Yeah. We continue to commiserate with the family, our deepest sympathy and sincere condolences. Thank you for those messages of condolences and just condoling with the family. Let's just get down to the brass tacks right now and begin with the party politics. And I'll come to you, Shakir, because yesterday was a big day for ODM. And I wondered if you showed up. You're an independent, actually, right? Because the face of ODM is still with you. So you're an independent, you've been an independent member of parliament representing Kisumu East. But your heart and soul, I know, is in ODM. Maybe you might not be privy to that particular information of what really happened yesterday. So I'll just go straight to Beatrice Elachi, because I know you were there. We'll come to you, Shakil, much later. Just to tell us, first of all, media was not really allowed yesterday for the PG, but we are privy to some information there regarding the zoning, which featured very prominently in that particular meeting. But also, you're greatly shy and you steered clear on the question of leadership that has become very, of course, controversial lately.
Mm-hmm. First, I was not there. Remember,
you were not there,
the
okay.
president was in my constituency.
Okay.
But then, I think what I'll say, when I looked at the communique, I think we dealt more onto the issue of having one party, people appreciating when the party has spoken, it has spoken. And more importantly, yes, on the zoning matter, I don't think it's really zoning, it's just respecting the regions on how we've been playing our politics. And so if we are really saying we want to work together, for us, I think it would be wrong for me to go and just start fighting Senator here Mugatana in his region, knowing very well how the region is. But remember also in Tana River, you find members of parliament of ODM, you'll find members the governor is ODM, the senator. So but it's just that respect. I think it's important. And why they are saying that, you find the coast region was really, really complaining that you find that there's too much, especially at this time when we are doing the party politics of each party is trying to build their bases. So, but I think it's also something that we build as we go, you know.
So the cost they're complaining on what matters. They are fielding a lot of the UDA candidates as opposed to ODM.
Well, we haven't fielded. We still have the members sitting.
Or mentioning, if it's not, some members have been touted to be taking this particular slots as opposed to ODM. That's what they've been complaining.
Yes, that's what they're complaining of. So for me, as we move to agree on a table, you know, politics is a competition also. So I know there will be a time when we will reach at a point and ask ourselves, do we want to have to win, or are we just doing this? So it will come. It will come to settle. But I think that respect for now is what is what the party leader is talking about. I'm happy he was very firm on many of the issues that they raised. Every person was given an opportunity to speak. Why are you this? Why are you this? And they were explained. Some of them were angry because the constitution of ODM is very clear. If you're a chair or a vice chair within parliament, then you can't hold a position also in the party, let's say, for example, at the county. So some of them were explained and told the truth. But the good thing, it was an open, where everyone spoke freely what they want and why they are behaving this way.
So they all bared out their hearts.
Yes, but one thing I appreciated, and I've always said here, that in the end ODM is ODM, that they went where the party leader is and they listened to him. That's all. That's
so may the real ODM stand up.
Where the party leader is the real ODM. If it was not the real ODM, they would not have come.
Is that the entire structure of a party? You have the leader, you don't have the secretary general.
No, the secretary general who the party...
He was an OSHA for that particular meeting.
No, I'm just saying, and nobody stopped anyone not to go for that meeting. So if you indeed you know you are the SG, you walk in.
Okay, we'll come back to it.
You don't need to, again...
Let me rope in Dr. Mugatana on this, because this will become a very ticklish issue moving forward if it's not really handled right now. Already you can see people are raising hesitations that, you know, there are murmurs and rumors that people who have been touted to take certain positions. So we have also Senator Olekina saying we should have a broad-based, jointly, you know, fielding candidates so that they can agree, UDA and ODM. How do you see this really panning out from your own assessment?
I think that we should separate legislative power from executive power. When we are talking about sharing power in government with potential partners, we are talking about executive. How many ministers you want, how many PSs you want, how many ambassadors you want, and so on. That's executive. And that's the realm of the party leader. On our side is the president, and on any other political party that will play with us, they need to understand that that is the new constitution. There's a clear separation between the executive power and legislative power. Now, legislative power is appointed by the people, but executive power is appointed by the party that wins, that the president who wins the election. So let's be very logical about this. This legislative power, because it's appointed by the people, let everybody give the people the power to appoint the ones they want to appoint. And because executive power is appointed by the executive authority, who is the president, then let the president make any deals he wants on that level. Now, this is why you can see, for example, in the current setup, Jubilee did not bring anybody on our side as far as party matters are concerned, but they are in the executive. ODM was not with us, but they are in the executive. ANC, in fact, Prime Cabinet Secretary is sitting there. ANC
is no more.
They didn't, even when it was there, they didn't bring much on the table. So what I'm saying is, let us shift from the old mentality where you needed to be a member of parliament, or the old constitution. You needed to be a member of parliament for you to sit in the executive. Now you don't need that. So the two should be separated. I say this because on the side of members of parliament and senators and so on, let us agree that we build our structures, we build our grassroots, and make it possible for any person to run on any ticket they want. But where myself and Shakil here running will give, and then we are working together, for example, we'll give an opportunity to a third party, then the party needs to discuss those arrangements so that we can retain legislative power, we don't lose it. But where Shakil can win, we work together, I can win, we work together, there should be no issues. UDA right now is doing very serious investments on the grassroots. I have spent a lot of time and money on my polling centers throughout Tana River County. And I'm preparing for the elections that will take place. And I know many other people are doing the same. So assuming I have done all this work, I have made my arrangements, I know who my agents are, I know everything, 7 months to election, 8 months to election, I've planned myself. I am waiting for party nominations, my own party, and then someone comes and tells me, you don't run, we are going to run someone from another political party. It is totally unfair, unconstitutional, and it is against also the principle of political freedom within the constitution that we have now. People are supposed to be free as far as politics is concerned. So I think if we can separate the two, that will help us a lot to solve the problems. My own approach is...
But that is the ideal that you are actually questing for, isn't it?
That is what should happen, because we are not... I think for many people, me included, that will be a deal breaker. I can't work so hard to build my party, and then you come and tell me I don't run a candidate. I think that will be a deal breaker. Okay. But you can negotiate you can negotiate the other side, the cabinet slots and what, that's okay, because that is a different authority. But legislative, why deny people the right to choose from everybody they want.
And these are exactly the mamas that we were talking about. If maybe you don't queue it right now, it's a tinderbox that is waiting to explode. I want to hear from Senior Counsel Okong'o Omogeni. Do you fly with the idea that...
We seem to be disagreeing even before the marriage takes place. So how will the marriage be? I don't know why you
still on the ratio, still bit.
And already you can see simmering differences. Simmering, you know, we seem to be having two different positions on this issue. I don't know why you left Shabir out of this matter.
He's coming as an independent because he's not he's actually out of the frame. So he's seeing the picture very clearly because he's not in the picture.
You know, we call him, in Bunge, he's like the senator for Vermont, Bernie Sanders. He's an independent, but at heart he's Democrat. He's independent, but at heart he's ODM. Yeah, so a beautiful debate. You know, today we want to have prime interview and then prime football time. So I hope you will share.
Your money is still split on Arsenal.
So that prime time panel, prime time football. Now, I'm happy that my party, ODM, has come to the realization that UDA wants to cannibalize ODM. In fact, if you are very frank as a member of ODM, you can see that there is some sinister motive from UDA. UDA wants to make serious inroads to areas that were considered to be ODM strongholds. Coast, you find them in Western, Nairobi, and I think the intention is to ensure that by the time we go to the next elections, they will have superior numbers in parliament and weaken ODM so that they reduce the bargaining power of ODM. Everybody will tell you that if you don't get it right in apportioning zones, you will lose seats you should have won, that you could have actually won if you had a better arrangement. I agree with Senator Mungatana that democracy means it should be a free-for-all. But you also have to be realistic that in a competitive political environment like the one we are in, if you throw in candidates like in Nairobi, say ODM runs, UDA runs, you can be sure that the winner will be DCP. There's no doubt about it. They will win the majority seats in Nairobi because the support base will be brought together. You will not be looking at parties. People will be told, vote for anybody in broad-based. We have been victims before as ODM. You find that candidate number 2 and 3, their votes combined could have defeated an UDA candidate in zones like Kisii. You find Wiper candidate, ODM candidate, they share votes. UDA candidate gets a smaller number of votes compared to these two, and they win the seat. So it's a conversation that should be put on the table and be discussed very, very honestly. You see, there is no way you're going to have strength in sharing executive power if you will not have legislative strength. If you reduce ODM parliamentary strength to 40 seats, then you will be told, you have had, I think it's Jubilee and ANC, we are being told that they brought nothing. If you reduce your legislative strength in parliament, you will be told you didn't bring much. You deserve 3 cabinet slots, 4 PSS, some few ambassadorial positions, and that is it. So I think William Ruto is a very smart politician. I think he already has mapped Kenya and is looking at ways he can make inroads to either 2 ODM zones, because now ODM is friendly to him, the likes of Coast. I had my minority leader, Stuart Mazayo, protesting that in Kilifi, there is a candidate being sponsored by UDA to run against him. Yet, the two are supposed to be in a friendly coalition. The same thing with Issa in Kwale, senator for Issa. I mean for Kwale, sorry. So when you see all these things, it points to lack of good faith in this marriage. And I can tell you, these disagreements will begin now. We may sweep them under the carpet towards elections, but they will become worse after the elections when there will be a discussion now to share the cake, if at all the UDA government retains power. My own view is the best way to build democracy is to have parties to compete for proper power. You know, when we say power, power goes to the person who is sworn in as president. So if you want your party to be strong, to control executive power, aim for presidency. Build a strong party, sponsor your candidate to run for presidency. Then once you win, you go back to the Constitution and look at Article 132, and you say, I'm the one who has power. But if you allow somebody else to run and become president, even if you say you are looking for power, power will be residing in that person who, at the end of the day, carries the Bible and is sworn in as the President of the Republic of Kenya.
So you invoke Article 132 for yourself, you know, go for the top seats.
Go for it.
So that
all the power is there.
I hear you, I hear you. We need to, okay, let me just hear from Shakil Shabir. Maybe he saw the light before, yeah, and decided to run as an independent, maybe also the ills of ODM, inter-party democracy when you're talking about it. You saw it before. So what have you been picking along the way with ODM? Are we seeing the decline of ODM? Even dialing back the time machine to 2007, we can see the numbers have been declining, right? ODM is becoming a shell of itself, looking at some of the prominent leaders, including even the president himself that was in ODM.
Firstly, thank you very much. Let me clarify, I'm an independent member of parliament. But even Baba and many say, and my brother, that my heart is to he used to call me independently ODM.
Independent ODM.
Independently ODM.
Independently ODM.
I would say to him, no, I was independently a Raila supporter. It's a little different. And that's where I stand. I have no problem with ODM. I was a founder member of ODM. It was founded in Kisumu at the Simba Club where I was there. Things are changing. Things are changing from the Kanu regime where you used to be standing in a queue. And even then, under the strict hand of Moi, he would never choose a candidate, even if there was a one party, he did not have the support of the people, generally. He may have supported one or two. Now, the power is with the people, not with the party. The party is the vehicle that is used to go and plead with the people to vote. It is not necessary to be talking about zoning. If my brother and me are in the same place and you zone and say today ODM and is going to drop out and UDA is going to go there, they're going to be independents like me, and I would say to those people who are dissatisfied with that decision, come and join us as an independent. When you're an independent, you're able to look at different levels. So personally, as much as I'm seeing what we call, well, when we were in NDP, we called it an implosion of Kanu. Implosion, if you remember that word. I was within LDP before that. So when they went, there was an implosion. And the president is a very sharp political mind, probably just as sharp as Moi and Baba. The thing is, this is the direction towards an implosion. But I think it's controlled implosion, controlled. However, the point is what you have said, constitutionally. You do not deny the people the right to vote. I remember when I was not given, in 2007 I was there as an ODM candidate, and 2013 it was only my dear friend Jokoyo who held me back literally, physically. I told him after 6 o'clock I'll go and pick up my Ford Kenya ticket. So this thing, I started experiencing it a long time back. What happens is ODM have their operatives. Now I'm not talking about the leadership, I'm talking about operatives. And then the leadership also comes in and they've decided they're going to give it to so-and-so. They say we are going to do what you call a scientific, and they do a scientific and you see Shakil as 65%, but yet they give to somebody else at 45% or 40%. That is the party decision. I have no qualms to say I don't dislike ODM. I just feel, and likewise, I have taken that narrow path. You will never see me abusing the president, abusing anybody, going on the floor, throwing water. Some of my colleagues have, throwing water at this. So we are taking that point. Once you are elected member of parliament, there should be no real, what we call party. You are meant to go and be.
Thank you.
That's the way I wanted to look at it.
All right, but we'd love to know. We want to take a short break. When we circle back, we'll hear what really informed your decision to be an independent. Once you were, a full member of ODM, heart and soul, but you decided to go as an independent. Did you suffer the atrocities of inter-party democracy within ODM? We would love to know that. And Okong'o Omogeni will tell us why also yesterday you were a no-show for this PG meeting. Where do you stand as it is? Are you also on your way out? We'd love to know that as well. We'll take a short break right now. When we circle back, we continue with more here on The Insight.
Fat and sugar in very unhealthy quantities.
My name is Nakiat and I'm 13 years old. I love noodles.
Ultra-processed foods are heavily engineered products, designed with improved shelf life, texture, flavor, and appearance in mind. This makes them super tasty, so they're able to trigger strong cravings.
When I started poetry when I was 2.5, when my school needed a toddler to say their anniversary poem, I proceeded from there to winning Talented Kids in 2019. I was actually the first poet to reach the grand finale. There was this organization called the CVF, Climate Vulnerable Forum. I became their thematic youth ambassador. There are some times where I feel tired, bored, and then I like spicy food. That's where noodles come in.
Ultra-processed foods are designed to hit what's been called the bliss point. They combine fat, carbs, and salt in ways that stimulate the brain powerfully. This encourages overeating.
Well, I'm not a fan of sweets, but then if I get to the point where I have to eat it, I eat it non-stop. But I like the drinks. I like Sprite, malt.
Unlike whole grains, vegetables, and fruit, ultra-processed foods don't have enough fiber or nutrients to fill you up. They're digested quickly, which makes you feel hungry again faster.
When I turned 8, my weight started increasing. I started growing big arms. I started growing stretch marks on my hands, on my waist, on my thighs. People criticize me. People are mean, The world can love you, but there's this one person who just won't let you sleep.
The act of eating can also be a coping mechanism. Emotional eating occurs when you mainly eat to suppress or soothe negative emotions like stress, anger, fear, boredom, sadness, or loneliness, instead of simply eating when you are hungry.
I started getting infections here and there. I had some issues with my breast, so I visited the hospital. It was hurting on the inside.
As soon as we got to the hospital, the nurses would say, oh, this is Nakiat, this is Nakiat, this is Nakiat. She's a child star in Ghana. But some of them were complaining, you are growing big, you are growing big.
I was thinking breast cancer. And so then I was worried.
It was a scare, a very huge and great scare. So the doctor advised us and told us the food that she's eating is developing a whole lot of fats around her body parts. The doctor was advising he has to curtail eating processed food and noodles and those things.
I just needed vegetables to be put on the table and me being forced to eat it.
Hi. Walk into any supermarket, all you see are processed foods. You look into a typical primary or high schooler's bag. Hardly do you come across fruits, nuts. It's just all junk food because the flavor has been enhanced. So it gives you this taste or this feeling to the brain that you will not normally have with your naturally made meals that we cook at home. You need to have a good relationship with food.
Yeah.
I don't want you to see food as punishment. So you see, the food can actually be healthy this way. This was homemade and it's still very nice.
My health is everything because I want to achieve a lot of things, but now I'm doing so well. I think I'm the best human being on the little free program right now, yes. All the cheers for me. Yeah, thank you very much.
At first, I won few bets, feeling like I'd cracked the system. The feeling of winning was very intoxicating, but as time went by, the number of losses outnumbered the wins. And just like that, all my savings vanished.
Gambling is risking money or another item of value on an event of uncertain outcome in the hope of gaining money.
Welcome back. You're watching The Insight, still untangling a host of issues. Now we are on the party politics, just harking back to yesterday, what really happened with the parliamentary group meeting of ODM, just to tease out some of these issues that were arising from that particular meeting. And what is the relationship right now with UDA moving forward? A lot of issues circling around also the zoning that we are discussing right now. Senator Okong'o Omogeni, no, let me just come to you, British Elachi, on this particular front bit that we are talking about. And I wanted just to ask the issue of even looking here at Nairobi County. I can see so far there is a polling that has come from the publication of a start that is tomorrow, that Sifuna and Babu leading Senate governor contest. So we have it here at Babu Wino, who is at 42%, Johnson Sakaja at 17.6%. Then we have Ronald Karuri, 8%, George Aladwa, Moses Kuria. Moses Kuria is still running for governor. I thought maybe he declared he's actually contesting for gubernatorial seat at Gatondo South. Yeah, but he had indicated he will run. So James Gakwe at 5.7%, Tony Gashoka 4.1%, Don't Know 3.5%, and Nan 4.9%, and others 0.8%. This will bring a problem at some point, if at all, is going to be the Linda Mwananchi and the Linda Ground faction, because this is going to split ODM, and that is the reality on the ground. The Secretary General was no show today in a very critical meeting. We are also given to understand that the party, that is Linda Mwananchi, somebody has moved to the political office of the political parties to try and register that particular name, Linda Mwananchi. And we don't know who it is right now. So is this an indication that we're having a pullout of this faction from ODM? And what does it really portend?
Well, it's good. You see, one of the things I always say in Nairobi, we have all this. We will come to the real elections. Nairobi, we are very interesting people. Very interesting. And I will say, as one person who has lost in Nairobi, and not that I was a bad person at that time, no. I had done a lot of groundwork. I had done a lot. But also Nairobi, we're very tribal. Let's not lie to ourselves that we're not tribal. Very tribal. Very. When we come to our elections. And that is why when you look at the 8 constituencies that are always with BAMBA, look at the dynamics there, the demographics there. You have those 8 constituencies that have always been with Uhuru. Look at the dynamics, the demographics, and ask yourself. And don't lie to yourself. That's all I'll say. Don't lie to yourself. When that time comes. Forget, now we are here. We will say our numbers. We will say we are doing well. That time, we'll come back here one day, Dibal, then we can have that discussion. And I will tell you. So I'm telling you, as a person who lost, I've come, I've won. Ask me a few other things, I'll tell you, that's Nairobi for you. And we have very pertinent issues that are very quiet. A constitution that is very quiet. And especially a constitution that does not speak loud, but it speaks 2 days to that election. It speaks very loud. And you realize, all the work I've done, that's the problem. And it's not because they would wish to be that way. It is also the dynamics that what they have gone through. But one thing I'll tell you, when we are campaigning, we are very good. And we will campaign and we will appreciate. The people who believe in the ideology of ODM are also very different. Because for them, they do not look at things very tribal. They look at, are you supporting the Orange Democratic Party? Are you supporting that orange? That's all. And because they believe in that ideology, they will vote for, and that's why they do not want to know, is Commissioner Omogeni from Kisii? Is Commissioner Omogeni in ODM? Not Linda, ground, ama Linda, mana. Are you in the Orange Democratic Party?
But now we have Linda.
That's why I'm telling you. And I want to repeat that. They do not look at the slogans we are using now. That day on that ballot, they will look at what they believe in. That orange.
That was those days.
That's orange. You actually, fronting the ODM speech here.
I'm not fronting the ODM speech. I am telling you, and I want to repeat, they look at the, by the way, they don't even look at anything else. They just look at, do you believe in the ideology they believe in? And for them, the ideology, and even now, when I meet even my people on the ground, they tell me, Mama Dago, ruke tu hivyo, lakini uvae chungwa, ukumbuke ni chungwa. They are very clear. And I'm telling you, they will punish us. In all these things we're doing, they will punish us.
So you don't think the Linda Mwananchi will upset the apple cart as it is? You might also be just resting on the laurels, thinking that...
no, I've said, let us meet here at that time.
Okay.
Let us have good opinion polls. When that time comes, let us come and discuss what it has had. I'm telling you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's just come to Dr. Mungatana on that particular beat as well. I can see, and we try to look at Nairobi because everyone now is centering on Nairobi. You can see already we have polls which are coming, people trying to put feelers out to see who is leading as well. If at all, and just not speaking because you own on the other side, but generally looking at the politics the way it is right now. If we have Linda Mwananchi, or perhaps because they've indicated they'll be joining also the United Alternative Government, just as you said, it will be so unfair for people who are in DCP or whichever party within the United or Alternative Government to dole out or give out party tickets to the newbies who come as, no matter how popular they are. Do you see this scenario really playing out? Because if at all somebody moves from ODM, let's say Babu or Sifuna moves to go to the United Opposition, the same challenge that we are with ODM and UDA are facing right now will be the same challenge that they will be facing. And if you want to run for senatorial seat or gubernatorial seat in Nairobi, it will be a challenge because DCP has its own candidate. How do you think, or how do you see clarity coming out of this to make it very limpid for Kenyans?
So maybe let me just say this, that if we can agree that we are going to run this race together, we have a pre-election agreement that in case we win, we are going to share government. The prime discussions should be around the executive power sharing arrangements. Now, when we come now to the legislative seats, I think we should demarcate and deal each case on its own, so that if A has been working hard in one constituency, let's say Ruaraka, B has been working hard in the same constituency, C has been working hard in the same constituency, and with these three political parties, we are working together. The leadership of the political parties will, especially if these are experienced politicians, you can call them and tell them, if we don't agree, because this is Nairobi, this is not like, say, Tana River County where I come from. In Tana River County, there will be no problem. If the three of us are working together, all of you can run. There's no problem. There's no risk of the opposition taking the seat. At least for now, it's predominantly ODM and UDA. So there's no risk, okay? But now in Nairobi, maybe DCP can come in, or DAP, or whatever candidate can come in if the two parties don't work together. So you call them for the legislative seat of Ruaraka and sit them down and ask if they can have an agreement. And it's always a trade-off, you know? Give us this seat, and then in another place we will give you. You know, it's always a trade-off. So, but that should be very separate from the agreed power sharing structure. It should not be that after we win the elections, we count the seats. You see, if we put the stakes that way, that's when now power sharing becomes a nightmare. But if we separate and say, irrespective of whether you bring us 0 seats, 20 seats, in principle, we have agreed we are working together. So you will get 3 cabinet slots, you get 4, you get 5, you get whatever in this and this. That is settled before the elections. In case we win, this is how we will divide. So then that reduces the pressure. Okay. And let me make this one point. I think UDA and President Ruto, honestly and sincerely, on account of the last election, we have kept our side. For example, we told PAA, this PAA, the political party, that if we win, we will help you and to get the speaker seat. And we did everything we could to give them the speaker seat. Ford Kenya, if we win, we will marshal for you to get the speaker seat. We did that. We will get this number of cabinet slots. We did that, you know, and that's how it is worked. So that positions are decided, the positions that we can get are decided prior to the elections, so that there is no tension. We can campaign together for the presidential vote because we all have a stake. Mm-hmm. But when we come to these other seats, we either bring the strong candidates together to agree if there is a risk, or we ask them to look at scientific tools, because like what you have quoted there, mm-hmm. that's a scientific tool. So if we can agree that we are going to commission these guys to do a poll for our area, and all of us are going to participate, and we use this scientific tool, then we can say, okay, Dibal, you're the one leading, mm-hmm. I concede, and I give you let me give you my support, yes. You become the MP. Mm-hmm. So it will either be scientific approach, but for the executive, let that be settled way before, so that there's no tension, mm-hmm. and there's no stealing, there's no dealing, willy dealing. Mm-hmm. That's how I say it. If this can be, like if we sat today, Oburu and Ruto sit down and agree, mm-hmm. whatever happens, whether you get 0 seats, whether I get 0 seats, if I become president, mm-hmm. you have this number of cabinet slots, you have this number of PSs, you have this, then that is settled way before. Then even agreeing, let's say in Nairobi, would be easier. Because I will tell you, okay, if these ones get here, then I will add you executive. Or I will reduce here, you give me here. That's how it's going to work.
Thank you. All right, let me just come to Senator Okong'o Omogeni. UDA, they had their by-elections, Evurore, I think Miminji, West Kabras as well. I can't recall the other constituency, you know, with the by-elections. But we have also the United Opposition challenging IEBC with their contract with the Smartmatic. And they're saying, you know, that particular contract was extended illegally. It didn't follow the proper procurement procedural propriety. And so all these by-elections that are being held are null and void. Does it really fly? First of all, from your own assessment, do they have a case? Can they move to court to challenge these by-elections? Or we've crossed the Rubicon?
Yeah, maybe you give me a minute
sure.
to comment about the opinion polls. I think you can, if anybody who is in politics cannot ignore the force of Babu and Sifuna. And if they are not managed well and they move out of ODM, I have no doubt that they will move with some support base. And that will ultimately affect the performance of ODM in Nairobi. And if you have been around for a long time, you know that there are many dynamics that come into play after every successive election. You did point to us that in 2007, William Ruto was in ODM.
Yes.
We mistreated him. He moved to, is it URP?
URP, yes.
And we lost the entire of Rift Valley. We haven't recovered up to today. That's a reality. We had a long debate around the issue of Wetangula, last Senate. And some of us were trying to say, look, this gentleman has some strong following within Bungoma, Bukusu area. If you rattle him and he runs away, he will move away with his support. But we are told, no, ODM will win in Bungoma, we are strong. You know, we lost the election with the votes that made the decision were 200,000. That's what we would have gotten in Bungoma, okay? If you look at the dynamics, Sifuna comes from Bungoma, that's his home county. Just like Raila used to fight Nairobi, but his base was in Luo Nyanza. And then there is DAPK in Trans Nzoia. If you let Sifuna move out, you will be dividing that orange down the middle. So we need to be very careful and ensure that we don't make decisions that will be counterproductive on the party called ODM. And Mungatana will speak very nicely now and tell us, no, even if you come with 10 MPs, we'll give you government. But I tell you, the moment that declaration is made, he will be the first one on the Senate saying, these people brought nothing. They should get one cabinet.
Shareholder.
Yeah, shareholding will come into play. So let's be let's not listen to these sweet words. You are being told now that numbers
but
is
the
everything.
same template, it will not be used in 2020.
Yes, the same, you know, and Mheshimiwa Beatrice, you know, we had Nyachai in Kisii. In 2002, to a man, in the entire of Kisii region, we voted for Nyachai.
Yeah.
All members of parliament voted with Nyachai. Then the people started rebelling and saying, we are tired with this government where you took us. They were telling him, move out. Nyachai kept saying, no, I'm the leader of the Abagusi. We must all remain in 40 people. You know, when we went to elections, Nyachai lost even his constituent seat, Yaribari Church. So when Elijah tells us about these constituents of ODM, it's always good to also put the ear on the ground to know where are they.
No, the Kisses, I know there because...
Where is the voting?
So that one, I told him last time, I cannot fight my commissioner. They went, and they should be where they are.
So the Kisses, that
one I have handed over.
right now as it is.
Yes, even the ones in Nairobi, they should not lie to us at all. They are one to a man the way they did with for the people that time.
You are being unfair to my good friend Osoro. Osoro reported the president.
No, he's my son.
And
so
he says the Omogusi is with Uda now.
But one thing I've respected
You're
about
Osoro
I am not.
TV.
He has a God who loves him. The other day when you are going there, the rain came, beat you people, you could not do anything. So he's a child of God also, protected somewhere. So we will pray for him. But the rest, you are gone. You are gone, you are gone, you are gone.
You want to finish your point?
Yeah. So I think it's good to pay attention to these opinion polls. You are saying that Nairobi is likely to move with Babu and with Sifuna. It will start that way and you will find it gone, especially if the Gen Z will be a big factor. Because I saw it in Zambia in 2021. You know, when there was that contest between Lungu and Echilemi Akainde. The strong base for Lungu used to be Lusaka itself. But because the Gen Z felt he had not done enough to secure them jobs, and these were graduates out of university, young people, they had the mobile phone, they actually made him lose Lusaka, the capital city of Zambia. And that's how Echilemi tilted the vote and won. So the urban vote can also change very fast. So, but I think Mheshimiwa is more experienced than us. You know, me, I run in the rural constituency in Nyamira. She has, I think, a better understanding and a better grip of what happens in Nairobi, and maybe we take what she's telling us. Now,
no, you just work for
maybe I just also hear from Shakil on that particular point. If he has anything to chime in, then we'll come to the Smartmatic just briefly.
I was wondering because as an independent, you've left me out of this thing. Firstly, the other day, Millie Odhiambo came to me and said, Shakil, why were you not in the PGA, the PG? I said, did you invite me? He said, no. Then why do you expect me to gate crash something that I'm not a member of parliament, a member of ODM for? The last time I did this, you roughed me up. In front of everybody. No, in the Kisumu, in front of everybody.
Okay.
You were there. You did not even one person, not even Orengo, not one person even lifted a finger. They all moved away. And the same guys who were roughing me up were some of my supporters. They said, look, don't worry, I said, kuna kitu tutafanya. Let us rarua shirt kidogo. So the first thing
is that true, Shabi?
Then I realized,
let us rarua shirt kidogo.
I realized at that time, no, there's a reason. I realized at that time that I had a reasonably good chance. When I lost, when the ODM nomination was given to somebody physically, although I had won it, I had gone to the party tribunal, I showed them everything, showed them the poll results and everything, went to the political party, showed them this, and the political party also agreed with me. I went to the IEBC. One of the senior members, who's now the CEO, told me, Shakil, it doesn't matter. Whoever ODM gives, we'll give him that. We will give him that. So you deal with it. Firstly, as I said, I must today thank a friend of mine and a friend of ours, Jokoyo, who put more sense into me. He said, listen, the party may not do you any favors. The party will decide what they want to do. We didn't want favors, but I wanted equity. We wanted to be given an equal chance. They did not. So when I was there, I got numerous calls from Kisumu. Shakil, any party you want, just join it and come over. In 2013, I was nearly losing that second chance. And this is on fact. Ford Kenya gave me the ticket. Watangula, go and pick up the ticket, up to 6 o'clock. My friend Olaguloch picked it up. Others picked them up. I did not. But luckily, ODM felt the pressure. They called me last minute. The point that I'm trying to point to you is this. It is the people who will decide, not the party. There has been a time now, people are looking at what is the philosophy of UDA, what is the philosophy of ODM. Are they up to that par? And this is like a relay, this is like a race, 5,000 meters race. You might find 3 people from Kenya, 1 person from Uganda, 1 person from Ukraine, and others. And so you have 3 people from Kenya are now the leaders. But you'll find a pacemaker, the pacemaker. The pacemaker is the one who's pacing whoever is being told to pace. He will never get that gold medal. He might even be, there's a case where the pacemaker actually overtook and won that gold medal. They will never get that gold medal. He will, maybe the best he will get is part of the purse, what you're saying, part of the purse. So that is the way it is right now. And I want to take my hat off to UDA. No, not even UDA. The thinking behind UDA. At State House, the president called all the aspirants, whether you're an aspirant or you're what, come and talk to us. Some of the sitting members of parliament were not happy, I know, because they came and told me they were talking and I was listening. So what President Ruto has done is taken it back to the people and said, you're an aspirant, protect the party, go and bring your people. So I think that is his masterstroke. Whether it works out the way he wants or not is now dependent. As far as the issue of sharing out and zoning, that one is a gone case. Look at me, folks. I am from what you would call the bedroom Kondele. No longer do my voters look at me as an Indian, a Mwendi or Nini, as long as I do not go and openly attack Raila Odinga. Or I don't even openly attack anybody, not ODM. So you're there. So we need to understand that, as you said, Nairobi is changing. I assure you, Kisumu has changed. I don't know about others. I know Kisumu has changed. I don't know about Kisumu Central. I don't know about the others. But I can prove to you over 2 general elections that we have changed. Now, whether they like my color, whether they like this or they like that, the point of the issue is, I was in the CKRC, Constitution Review Committee, and we were talking about the electorate having the power. Now, as we said, if ODM can be the party of the people rather than people to be part of the party, that maybe people didn't like what I said. You see, what I was trying to suggest is this. Every party must be the party of the people. The people must understand. People protect the party. People believe in the ethics and whatever, and that the party will deliver to the people.
Right. Let's leave it at that because of time as well.
Time is currently, it has been the party more than the people. That is why you're having Linda Ground, and just think about those 2 words, Linda Ground and Linda Wananchi. Just think about it.
Tailor-made for the peoples. Okay, let's come to Daktari here, and I ask you a critical question as well, because I had mentioned about this mathematic. UDA has won the recent by-election that we just had in Aurora Miminji, Isolo, also with West Cabras as well. Right. And this entire issue that is being raised by the United Alternative Government regarding the Smartmatic, the expiry of their contract. So Kalonzo he says all these by-elections that have been carried out should be declared null and void. Is there any legal validity to what he's questioning?
Okay, first of all, you've kept on referring to United Opposition. I think you should just...
United Alternative.
No, they are just a disunited opposition. This is what they are. This is what they are. They are disunited opposition. So, and also, of course, disoriented, and they are not having any agenda for Kenya. But leaving that aside, I have always argued, even when that law that came before us, the Senate for...
I told you the people don't like you.
What's the challenge today? Don't worry. Welcome back. It appears monkeys are hanging on my lines, so a bit of a technical challenges there. We hope the monkeys have gone away. You're laughing. Yeah, the monkeys are around here. You know, in the Karura forest. Yeah.
Sorry about that. But I was saying, we are going into a game.
Yes.
And the referee here is the IEBC. it is the responsibility of the chair and the commissioners in IEBC. Any of the teams that is raising any issue, they should give them an opportunity to express themselves so that they feel satisfied. I have argued even during the submissions of when we were discussing about the elections laws amendment, one of the things I said is that the IEBC should take the opportunity to make sure that there's a trial run on these machines so that all the teams can see these are the rules that the referee is going to apply. And if there's any opportunity to improve on them, it should be done.
But the question is not really about, the gadgets. The question is about, who is offering the gadgets and the credibility around the smartmatic.
No. So this is what I'm saying. The rules of how we are going to apply those gadgets and everything should be agreed by the teams that are going to play. That's what I'm saying. And about the contract, that's what I'm coming to now.
Yes.
About the contract, I think sometimes people talk out of having nothing to say. We went into a game where we scored 4-0 against the disunited opposition. And they had to say something about it. So obviously they will come out and say, oh, it was rigged, it was compromised or whatever. But if that is not flying with Kenyans, they will start bringing those other issues. Oh, these are all illegal. Oh, these are, So for me, those are just words that someone says when they have lost an election. And I want to urge colleagues, when you stand up and start hitting at institutions, I think now you're going against what is good for all of us. Like when you attack police, when you attack the army, when you attack the judiciary or any other institution, or the IEBC, what you need to do is to say, this is a problem, this is a solution. And those people who are in charge, like right now what I've said, they need to listen and try to improve. But a statement saying all the elections that have been done are null and void, that is an irresponsible statement. That is supposed to be, TikTok views, something that will attract attention. That is calculated to be a headliner. And it is an irresponsible statement to make. And I keep urging our leaders, especially leaders who have been around, if that statement is attributed to Kalonzo Musyoka, that's unfortunate. It should be that we have agreed that we have lost these elections, we will do better, we will organize better. That is how it is. In Kiswahili we say, asiyekubali kushindwa sio mshindani. In this one, 4-0, it is not a joke. So let them say what they want to say, but I want to say this thing again, Dibal, as I finish my statement. Jump on the cars, make the noise on the microphones and whatever. If you don't organize at the polling stations, we are going to thwack you seriously in 2027. We are going to finish this disunited opposition.
Right, but they're saying don't judge with the Ligi Ndogo, right? Arsenal is playing tonight.
So Arsenal ni Ligi Ndogo?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Ligi Kubwa.
They should play the Ligi Kubwa. So is what we have the by-elections a precursor of what is going to come in the 2027? Quickly, so that we wind up, let's come to you.
Well, for me, I don't want to make it that way. What I just say, if you are going to this election of 2027, plan yourself. Plan. And when I say plan, don't plan yourself and tell us, oh, you don't have now your agents, oh, you don't know this. No. Plan the election the way it is planned, because remember, that final game is done in the stream, not anywhere else. In fact, in NADCO, we said we will finish the game at the stream, the school, the polling center. There is where your results is determined. So if you find anything wrong, don't come screaming. Please scream at the polling center. So get your agents right. And plan also, knowing very well, everyone is planning. So don't assume, because even if you are assuming these small by-elections, that is how you'll assume the big one, where we shall have more than 64,000 polling centers, polling stations for the presidential vote. If it is Nairobi, just know you need 3,600 agents plus, because those were the ones we did with 2022. You plan, and plan well.
And plan well.
Yeah.
Senior Counsel, let's just listen from you, then we'll get also closing remarks from each of us.
There's nothing wrong with the term alternative government. I see it anytime you have elections in Australia, they will always tell you this is what the alternative government will do for you. So I don't know why my learned friend here is saying he has heard them say nothing. I've listened to the United Opposition. They are saying issues that resonate with common mwananchi. They are telling us this government is unable to deal with corruption. Totally. People are stealing left, center, and right. So if you are an alternative government, you tell us when you take over power, you'll deal with corruption. SHA is a debacle, it's not working. It's a big challenge. Look at respect for human rights. You saw now the tear gas has even gone to the doorstep of the president. The president is being tear gassed in a political, I don't know, that was a rally or something, or a function.
No, there was no president being tear gassed.
And I saw
those games Dibal must stop.
I saw
stop. Those games
on the
must
news.
Stop.
I saw in panic him telling the driver, move, gesturing.
No.
You know.
We were at the market, Dibal. You see,
I think,
that is the problem with everyone who never came on the ground. See, I was there. So I was on a vehicle. He was telling us to move because people are behind.
Speaker, sir, can you allow me to?
And he's supposed to move so that the car stands straight.
Okay.
For people. That's all.
All right.
Yeah. On elections, you see what has happened.
That's the panic. You see, now this panic. This panic is too sad. Too sad for this.
We'll be comparing notes in 2027.
Oh, yeah.
You saw what happened in Isiolo. In fact, there is no serious transgression in an election than when somebody is making a declaration of results where the votes garnered by candidate exceed the registered number of voters. That's what happened in Isiolo. And if that is the kind of results we're going to see in 2027, then I'm sorry to say that will not be an election but a total debacle. You know, I was in NADCO. Raila, the late Raila Odinga was so passionate about this company called Smartmatic International that we could argue up to midnight. We had John, we consult him. When we go back, he says, we must know what these people did with our elections in 2022. And the first recommendation from NADCO was to do a serious audit around that company called Smartmatic International. Look at their technology. Come up with a finding whether they tried to interfere with the election and whether the election itself could be said to be an election that was conducted with integrity. That was the first recommendation from NADCO. That was also very dear to Raila Odinga. Up to today, that has not been done. So what message are you sending to the country when again we read that Smartmatic International has had their contract extended before those issues are resolved? It means we are not serious. I mean, even IBC, they live in Kenya. They know that the issue of that company was named adversely during the NADCO process. It was named adversely in court. Why would you, as a responsible commissioner at IEBC, why would you extend the contract for that company before those issues are resolved? And personally, Dibal, we want a free and fair election. I agree with my colleague here that results should be declared at a polling station. That's what Article 138 says. That's what we even recommended from NADCO. And we have even criminalized. Anybody will try to do alterations from the polling station to the next tallying center, which is constituency. And we want these elections to be as free, as fair, as credible as it can be. But when you start sending wrong signals by picking a company that already has issues, before we unravel the issues around that company in 2022, what are you telling Kenyans, Dibal? Because this was a position that was agreed between UDA and not ODM and the United Opposition at that time. These issues, in my own view, Dibal, if we are honest with ourselves, should be resolved first. Let us do a proper audit of that election. If this company was involved in some fraud, it should never be allowed to run any election. Not even not just 20, even these by-elections. It should not be allowed to run any election. Otherwise, we are creating doubt among Kenyans whether we are going to have a free and fair elections in 2027. So let's listen to the issues being raised by the alternative united government.
Right.
Okay? And if we get a clean bill of health on this company, then we tell Kenyans we have done an audit, they did nothing wrong, they can run our next election. But if we proceed this way, we want to create problems for this country.
Right. Let's just leave it at that because of time. And we know they will argue that time is of essence. Even if we pull it out right now and we have the general election next year, do we have any lead time?
When were they procured? 2021, and the elections were in 2022. Smartmatic was procured in 2021.
Direct procurement, yeah, because of the issue of lead time as well.
Yeah, no, don't talk about period. There is enough time. Okay. If IBC wanted to procure a different company, there is enough time. Debal.
Thank you.
Correct the figures that were mentioned here. Isiolo South has 22,000 registered votes. The person who won had 7,000. I'm looking at the figure. Number 2 had 634. Number 3 had 44 votes.
I say
so. How can someone
in a polling station, not in a constituency,
say that the person who won the election had more votes?
You mentioned a polling station.
I said a polling
Which
station.
one? Which one?
Dibal.
You know, sometimes we should be
Dibal. There is a difference between votes in a polling station and the votes in a constituency.
No. The constituency has only 22.
We are getting into a discussion here.
And in 2022, there were 21,170.
Well, we need to wind up.
So the issue was in a polling station.
Which one?
I said a polling one. I can give you
it to us.
I can give it to you.
Because sometimes it's not right to make assertions that you can't
total votes
without any confirmable facts.
22,181.
I think we're opening up our Pondaros box. I don't have sufficient time.
But I said it was a panic mode.
I don't just
panic mode. You see figures very differently. Now a polling center where you know very well, even the governor. You see, even commissioner has to help us. You know very well in Isiolo, even the governor cannot garner more than 60.
Correct.
And that's the whole of Isiolo County. So how will it be a polling station? A polling station can have 22. Let's not go there. It's not fair to Kenyans, to Isiolo people, to everyone.
All right, we'll clarify as we're winding up. We need to wind up. Can I give you just 30 seconds?
No, you can't, because I'm an independent review. Kept me out.
I'm being hounded out of studio right now.
No, you've been kept me here. Let me say 3 points. I asked you to allow me. You said you'll talk to me after Dunstan. You'll ask me. Let me put 3 points, very important points. 1, this thing that they said make a pre-poll arrangement. ODM, Raila Odinga made a pre-poll arrangement with Kibaki. They ignored it. President Kibaki, as good as he was, they ignored it. Then this pre-poll agreement you are making again, you tell the people, no, President Ruto will make you, or UDA. How come, who is going to say that they can say, no, it's not in court, it's not a legal document. Secondly, 10-point thing. Corruption was the most important, one of the most important. We are still sitting to see what happened. I am with the African Parliamentarians Against Corruption. We'd like to know what happened. Finally, the biggest problem that we have in Kenya, and I sat on the CKRC, we made a huge mistake. It should not have been 50+1. It should have been 66%. Anyone who garners 66% in the first round goes straight through. If it is less than 66%, you have a second round. That is what should have taken place here. And it did not take place, and that's where we are. Finally, in Uganda, they used basins, not those cardboard things. You know how much that cardboard stand costs? Believe me, it costs you over 8,000 shillings per cardboard stand. I know, I talked to some people. So that's where our problems are. And I think the most important thing, I want to mention another one. We were 12 independent members of parliament. 10 went to Kenya Kwanza, 1 went to ODM, straightforward, went to sign. And there was only one who did not sign, but I'm still with ODM, independently ODM. I think when the election come and we have 40 or 50 independent members of parliament, we will have a say.
All right, thank you very much. I'll just give 30 seconds with the indulgence of my director, 30 seconds to wind up. We begin with you, Daktari.
It's not my 30 seconds. Huh?
You've taken your 30 seconds.
No.
yeah. Let's hear from that. Because of time.
I object. You're giving them all the time.
Okay, Daktari.
My appeal to Kenya is that we are going into elections. Let us listen to what the candidates have to offer. And then for each of those seats, let's make decisions based on what the candidates are promising, not on tribal alliances. That is my appeal. And I pray that this happens in my county and in my region so that we have the best of the best sitting in these positions and helping us push the agenda of growing this nation together.
Thank you. Beatrice.
I think the most important thing, all of us, let us remember we just have Kenya. And in this Kenya, if we say the right things, if you go and just focus on issues without bringing in a lot of emotions and the motives of issues will just bring up a nation into its own conflict, then the blame will be us. And I've seen each of us, we go out there, very well this is an issue that this region has felt is not done right, and you really want to make it more worse than even what is there. So let's try. In the end of the day, by the way, the Kenyans will just vote based on how they'll see. And I'm happy some of them appreciate nowadays this what you have done, and they will tell you, at least you have done this, you have done this. And I want to thank Kenyans that for the first time they're also looking at, have you done anything? Or you're just telling us stories and all those things.
Thank you.
So
the polling station that returned 100 more votes than the registered voters in Isiolo was Garbatula Day Primary School. That is factual. And even the KIMS could not detect that problem. You can see when we tell you that Smartmatic has issues, you can see the results of that kind of incompetence from the outcome from that by-election. What will happen in the national presidential election? And my 30 seconds, if a government is corrupt, if a government is giving criminals, international criminals, passports, if a government is overtaxing you, it's your right to deal with that government in 2027.
Thank you, Senior Counsel Okong'o Omogeni. Senator Nyamira, we really do appreciate.
My 30 seconds.
Okay.
My 30 seconds just says, listen, Wananchi, the vote is yours. Parties, if you are in line with what Wananchi want, then by all means try and do the best you can. Independence means just that. Do your duty. And we are hoping and praying that as these big parties are working, some of the independents, because many of the independents who came were rejects of the party. So we're looking for an independent of at least 50 independents next time. I will be standing independent. I don't know whether I'll be elected or not, but independents are going to be the change that Kenya wants or needs.
That's the rise of the independents. All right. Thank you so much. Shakil Shabir, really do appreciate. Member of Parliament, Kisumu West, Dr. Danson Mungatana, Senator Tana River, thank you for coming through. Also, Beatrice Elachi, Member of Parliament.
Karbatula has 6,645 only registered voters.
Senior Counsel, thank you very much. I think that is a topic for another day.
Yes,
if you open it
I
right
need to
now,
understand that.
We don't want to open a Pandora's box at this time. Thank you so much. I really appreciate what a trenchant discussion we've had. I wish we had more time. Thank you. Of course, I want to thank you as well for your valid company. We always say in essentials unity, in non-essentials liberty, in all things charity. Let's congregate on constitutional matters that really matters for this country, rule of law, and also we can always agree to disagree on matters of policy and all things charity. Let us hold this country dearly in our hearts as well. Thank you for your valid company. My name is Dibala Naya. May you sleep serenely and restoratively.